The dark truth about emotional manipulation. The silent beginning. Not every form of control comes with shouting. Not every betrayal is loud. Some of the most dangerous manipulation happens in silence. No raised voices, no obvious threats, just subtle words, carefully chosen actions, and invisible pressure. Emotional manipulation is a quiet weapon. It doesn't attack your body. It slowly takes control of your mind. And the most frightening part, sometimes you don't even realize it's happening. Because emotional manipulators rarely appear as villains. They often look like friends, partners, family members, people you trust. But behind their calm smile, they are quietly shaping your thoughts, your emotions, and your decisions. And by the time you finally realize what's happening, you may already feel trapped. The illusion of care. Emotional manipulation rarely begins with cruelty. It often begins with kindness. Manipulators know that trust is the first door they must open. They listen carefully. They appear supportive. They say exactly what you want to hear. At first, it feels comforting, like someone truly understands you. But this kindness is not always genuine. It can be strategic, a way to study you, to learn your fears, your weaknesses, your emotional triggers. Because once someone understands what hurts you the most, they gain the power to control how you feel. Planting seeds of doubt. Once trust is established, the manipulation slowly begins, not with obvious lies, but with small doubts, tiny suggestions that make you second-guess yourself. You're overthinking. That never happened. You're too sensitive. These words may seem harmless at first, but repeated over time, they begin to change how you see reality. This tactic is known as gaslighting, a psychological strategy designed to make you question your own memory, judgment, and sanity. And once doubt takes root in your mind, the manipulator gains even more control, because a person who doubts themselves is easier to influence. The power of silence. Sometimes manipulation doesn't involve words at all. Sometimes the weapon is silence. The silent treatment is one of the oldest forms of emotional control. When someone suddenly stops responding, ignores you, avoids eye contact, refuses to communicate, it creates emotional anxiety. You begin asking yourself questions. Did I do something wrong? Why are they ignoring me? How can I fix this? And that's exactly the reaction the manipulator wants, because now you are trying to earn back their attention. Isolation. As manipulation deepens, another dangerous pattern begins: isolation. Manipulators slowly distance you from others. They might criticize your friends, create conflicts with family, or make you feel guilty for spending time with anyone else. At first, it may seem like jealousy or concern, but the real purpose is control. Because when someone becomes emotionally isolated, their world becomes smaller, and the manipulator becomes the center of that world. Emotional dependency. Over time, emotional manipulation creates dependency. You begin relying on the manipulator for validation, for approval, for emotional stability. Your happiness becomes connected to their behavior. If they are kind, you feel safe. If they withdraw, you feel anxious. This emotional roller coaster keeps you trapped, because every small moment of kindness feels like relief, even though the cycle of control continues. Losing yourself. The most dangerous part of emotional manipulation is not the arguments, it's the slow loss of identity. You begin changing your behavior, your opinions, your decisions, all in an attempt to avoid conflict. Little by little, you stop recognizing the person you used to be. your confidence fades, your voice becomes quieter, and the manipulator's influence grows stronger. The moment of realization. But manipulation does not last forever. Eventually, something changes. Maybe a conversation, maybe a sudden realization, or maybe a quiet moment alone with your thoughts. And for the first time, you begin to see the pattern, the doubts, the emotional pressure, the silent control. And in that moment, you realize something powerful. You were never weak. You were simply trusting. Breaking free. Breaking free from emotional manipulation is not easy. It requires courage, awareness, and the strength to rebuild your self-trust. You must learn to set boundaries, to trust your instincts, and to understand that real love never requires control. True relationships do not weaken your voice, they strengthen it. Walking toward freedom. Leaving manipulation behind does not mean the pain disappears instantly. Healing takes time, but something beautiful begins to happen. You rediscover your voice, your confidence, your sense of self, and slowly the darkness fades, because emotional freedom begins the moment you realize no one has the right to control your mind. Final midnight thoughts. Emotional manipulation hides behind kindness, behind silence, behind words that seem harmless. But once you recognize its patterns, power begins to disappear. Because the strongest defense against manipulation is awareness. And sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is simply this: I choose my own mind.